60 miles inland Antarctica is not a place. It's a test. In the polar night, they stand motionless, each one guarding a single egg, an egg that would die in minutes if it ever touched the ice. No food for months, hurricane winds, temperatures that can freeze skin in moments. And yet, every year, they choose this. This isn't a story about animals in tuxedos. This is the hardest routine job in nature, repeated on schedule, without mercy. A cycle spanning thousands of miles. A cycle involving multiple penguin species. A cycle powered by ice, light, and timing. Antarctica has no forests, no soil, no land predators. Half the year, it has no sun. And still more than 12 million penguins return, walking, sliding, and swimming back to the same ground, as if pulled by memory. Because in this world, survival isn't luck. It's precision. Antarctica, a desert made of ice. Antarctica is, at its core, a desert. The driest place on Earth, even though it wears an ocean of ice. In the interior, snowfall is tiny. What does fall doesn't melt. It stacks, compresses, becomes ancient. Cold here isn't just temperature. Winter averages near 40 F. Winds can exceed 60 mph, turning air into a blade. Exposed skin can freeze in under 2 minutes. The body begins failing almost immediately, and the ice itself is unstable. It moves, it grinds, it buckles, it breaks. Fast ice can vanish from one year to the next. Pack ice drifts and scatters. Glaciers calve icebergs that float north, until warmer water dissolves them. Nothing holds still. And yet, life breeds inside this chaos. The emperor's choice breeding at the worst possible time. Most animals avoid winter. Emperor penguins run straight into it. They begin breeding when Antarctica is at its most hostile, when darkness deepens and temperatures drop toward their yearly low. It sounds insane, but the logic is brutally exact. When sea ice reaches its maximum extent, it becomes stable enough to hold tens of thousands of birds. They need that platform wide, flat, and far from ocean predators. If they waited for summer, ice would weaken too soon. Chicks could hatch into open water. So emperors leave early. Long lines of penguins march inland through darkness, toward a breeding site that looks empty to us, but stays frozen just long enough to raise a chick. One egg, one chance. Each female lays a single egg. One attempt. One life. The handoff to the male must be perfect. If the egg touches the ice, even for a moment, it freezes. Then the colony splits. Females return to the ocean to feed. Males remain inland, alone in the cold, in the dark. And the real ordeal begins. The fast 4 months of stillness. For nearly 4 months, males incubate without eating. Metabolism slows. Fat reserves vanish. Weight drops dramatically. Storms intensify. And then, nature offers a solution so simple. It feels like design. The huddle, a living fortress. This is not a crowd. It's a machine made of bodies. No leader. No command. Just slow, continuous motion. Penguins rotating in waves, so no single bird stays on the exposed edge too long. Inside the huddle, warmth builds. Temperatures can rise close to 70 F, just inches away. Wind chill can be lethal. Life survives on a razor-thin border, between warmth and death. Each male keeps the egg balanced on his feet, sealed under a fold of skin. If it slips, it dies. So he stands still. Through hunger, wind, pressure, day after day. The hatch, when sound returns. Months pass. Light begins to creep back. Winds weaken. And then, from beneath feathers, a sound. Small, fragile, alive. Newly hatched chicks call from the darkness. The males are nearly finished, shaking, exhausted, barely upright. Out at sea, females are feeding, rebuilding strength. And when they finally return, something extraordinary happens. Finding family in a crowd of thousands. In a colony of thousands, they locate their exact partner and their chick, using sound alone. A unique call cutting through chaos. Once the chick is transferred safely, the starving males begin the final walk, back to the ocean. After more than 100 days without food, even the journey home becomes a gamble. Some don't make it. Those who do hit the water and dive immediately, refueling in the brief Antarctic summer. Their hardest phase is over. But for the chicks born into the coldest place on Earth, the struggle is only beginning. Summer arrives, the continent exhales. Antarctic summer doesn't arrive like warmth. It arrives like permission. Horizon, a thin blue line becomes daylight. First, a pale glow, then longer days. Then color. The cold loosens just enough, and the ice responds. The fortress begins to retreat. Edges crack. Undersides thin. The sea reclaims what winter stole. And beneath the surface, something wakes. The bloom life ignites in the water. For the first time in half a year, sunlight floods the ocean. Microscopic plants, phytoplankton, explode into bloom. Fast, dense, visible from satellites. This bloom becomes the foundation of the Southern Ocean, and following it comes the true engine of Antarctica. Krill, billions of them. Few ecosystems rely so completely on a single small animal. Timing becomes everything. Krill need the thaw. Predators need krill. And penguins need both. Coastlines erupt, different penguins, different strategies. As the ocean wakes, the coast comes alive. Adlai penguins arrive first, small, bold, fast on land. They build pebble nests on rocky shores newly exposed by melt, stealing stones in constant territorial wars. Gentoo penguins search for ice-free shorelines, traveling far to find them. Their breeding is more flexible, more responsive. Chinstrap penguins cluster on islands and peninsulas, timing their season with the peak of krill. Too early, chicks starve. Too late, adults fail. Every return, every nest, every hatch is calibrated to the ocean's pulse. And the ocean is now crowded with hunters. Predators of the melt. Seals slip through broken ice. Leopard seals patrol the edge, waiting for first-time swimmers. Giant petrels circle above colonies, watching for weakness. And beneath the waves, orcas move like rulers. Different groups specialize. Some hunt seals, some target penguins, some coordinate to create waves that wash prey off ice. The melt gives them freedom. For many, summer is abundance. For emperor chicks inland, it's still winter. Their world runs behind the coast by weeks. And that mismatch between inland cold and coastal bloom is one reason penguins live such different lives across Antarctica. Geography writes the rules. South Georgia, where summer doesn't return it, explode. Now move more than 1,000 miles from the continent. South Georgia, a sub-Antarctic island that feels almost generous compared to the south. Here, currents collide. The seafloor rises. Nutrients surge upward. Upwellings churn the deep. The result is one of the most productive marine environments on Earth. A supermarket for every predator and seabird within reach. And on a narrow coastline called St. Andrews Bay stands a colony so large it looks unreal. The King Penguin City. From afar, it looks like the ground is moving. Up close, the scale hits. Hundreds of thousands of king penguins, black, white, gold, packed across beach and slopes toward retreating glaciers. Their voices fuse into a metallic roar. Parents and chicks trying to find each other in a living wall of sound. Kings don't march inland. They don't gamble against months of darkness. Their strategy depends on accessibility. They breed on bare ground. The ocean is always close. But their timeline is slow. It can take more than 14 months to raise a single chick. In the time an emperor chick hatches and fledges, a king chick may still be growing its first true feathers. This only works because South Georgia offers something Antarctica often cannot: stability. But stability doesn't mean safety. Danger in a crowd. This colony moves like a city. Adults shove for space. Chicks gather into massive sear chests. Huge shifting groups of brown juveniles huddling together while parents hunt. Hungry chicks push forward, hoping the next returning adult is theirs. Adults dive offshore for lanternfish, squid, and krill. And where life concentrates, predators appear. Squaws stalk the edges. Giant petrels scan overhead. Fur seals and elephant seals wait at the surfline. Orcas patrol feeding grounds, pushing penguins into deeper, riskier dives. Kings survive not by enduring winter like emperors, but through numbers, mobility, and rich waters. Their bet is simple: feed well. Raise slowly. Hold on long enough for the next season to arrive. The fringe, where most penguins really live. The Southern Ocean's outer edges tell a different story. Islands, cliffs, grasslands, rocky beaches. Warmer, wetter, steeper, stormier, and changing faster. This is where most penguins live away from the interior, avoiding the long polar night. Here, survival demands flexibility, and nowhere is that more visible than on wave-battered cliffs. Rockhoppers, the cliff gamble. Rockhopper penguins don't negotiate with surf. They launch into it. They leap through violent waves, scale steep rocks, and nest on ledges that seem impossible to reach. The effort buys safety. Waves can't reach the nests. Most predators can't follow. They don't rely on sea ice. They rely on agility. Constant motion, fast decisions. For now, that agility keeps them ahead. The Falklands and the mixed world. Farther north, the Falklands feel almost gentle. Rolling hills, grasses, soil, long beaches. Here, species overlap. Magellanic penguins dig burrows into the ground, raising chicks underground. Gentoos and rockhoppers share coasts, each taking different terrain. Across other island chains, South Sandwich, South Orkney, storms, steep slopes, and shifting ice create new challenges. Macaroni penguins dominate many of these places, clinging to wet, unstable ground, and somehow making it work. The shift when the rhythm breaks. Now, the quiet threat. The Antarctic Peninsula is warming fast, faster than many expected. Glaciers shrink. Snow patterns shift. Ice forms later, breaks earlier, and penguins respond immediately. Adlai's classic icebirds depend on predictable sea ice and steady seasons. When that rhythm fails, breeding collapses. Many colonies shrink not because the birds change, but because the calendar did. Gentoos, meanwhile, find opportunity. They prefer open water. They adjust quickly. As conditions warm, they expand southward into places once too cold. Chinstraps sit in between strong, efficient hunters, but tightly tied to krill. When krill declines, chinstrap colonies thin with it. In one region, you can watch the future in real time, decline for some, expansion for others, all at once. Ending the edge is moving. Penguins have always lived at the boundary of what Earth allows. But now, the boundary is shifting. Some species will move. Some will adapt. Some will vanish from places they once ruled. Because Antarctica isn't changing like a story. It's changing like a system. And every penguin, every species must decide, can it follow the moving edge? Or will the edge leave it behind?